Rose was pepper sprayed. I can't believe Rose got pepper sprayed. It's not funny. I just laugh in uncomfortable situations. Hey Dan, it's cold. And we're at the Ohio State-Michigan game. And I can't feel my toes.
It's colder than a witch's titty in a brass bra.
Okay. It's been a while since you've beat the team up north. How have the last few years been?
They cheated.
Not good. They're not good.
A cupcake win. That's a great
Cupcake win.
Cupcake.
So they probably could put me on the field, and I think I could probably throw 45 touchdowns. Michigan.
Get rid of that whole state. That'd be good.
Top 5 of the worst things ever.
Michigan. Let's go Michigan and Michigan.
Did you guys see where Ryan Day said that losing to Michigan, the only thing worse was when he lost his father?
It's a big game, but like that is kind of crazy to say. I'm not gonna lie.
Would you say losing to Michigan is equivalent of facing like the death of someone close to you then?
Absolutely.
The fact that they're 6-5 and they think that they deserve to have me out here watching them get their ass beat.
Did they cheat?
Yeah, I think so. Connor Stallions. That guy. He cheated. I saw it. He told me himself, actually.
Okay, so what should the punishment be? You guys get to choose.
Public execution.
So you all know that Rose comes with me every week. We also have a producer. His name is Harry. He went to Michigan. He's gone. They took him a long time ago. We put an air tag on him, so I'm sure we'll find him later, but we haven't seen Harry in hours. Do you guys have anything y'all want to say to my producer, Harry, over here?
Harry, we love him. He said he went to Michigan, though. That was probably not the best thing to tell us right away. Him and Connor Stallions, public execution.
What do you guys feel about Michigan fans? Are they nice? How?
Idiots.
My producer, Harry.
Harry. How we doing, Harry?
Okay, do we like Harry?
Yellow hat. No, he has a yellow hat.
With that
And I
hat,
can see
I
that
think
they
he
are
may be
a Michigan fan.
a closet Michigan fan.
Over. This interview's over. Talk about idiots, didn't we?
Harry's fired.
Idiots. Go blue.
Do you have a favorite person on the show?
Definitely did.
It feels like a lazy answer.
Speaking of lazy answers, Stugatz, period, is the lazy answer.
You think Dak Prescott could be the answer for the Cowboys?
And I want to shout out Dan Lemitard. Did I say it wrong? Shout out Dan. Shout out Dan.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can't feel my face because I'm in shock. It's so cold. Big Ten, we're the best conference in the world. All right, so Ohio State fans have been very nice. I have a feeling that's going to change. So, not so fun note, after the game, Michigan went to plant the flag in the Ohio State field, and all the Ohio State players started fighting with the Michigan players. I've never seen anything like it in my life. The cops showed up, pepper sprayed everyone, including Rose. Rose pepper sprayed. She's doing all right. I don't think she's going to want to come back to Ohio State anytime soon, but she is okay. Rose, can we get a wellness check?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you very much for asking.
What would make you feel better?
A raise.
I have to get through this without laughing because I seem like Rose was pepper sprayed. It's so funny. I can't stop laughing. I can't believe Rose got pepper sprayed. It's not funny. I just laugh in uncomfortable situations. I will say, ton of respect for the Michigan football players when Rose got pepper sprayed. It's crazy to say. They all came over to help her.
Dan, I'm sorry. Lucy wanted to do some interviews, but
If you want to watch Ohio State next season, most likely with a new head coach, you can download the Game Time app and use code Lucy for $20 off your first order. Terms apply. What time is it? It's game time. College football is best. Except for the time that Rose got pepper sprayed.
Lucy, you are laughing at your own material there. You are gazing into how amusing you are, and no one in the world has found a pepper spraying funnier than you found this pepper spraying. You can't stop laughing at Rose. You're covering something very seriously and can't stop laughing during the serious coverage.
Okay, one, that's my coping mechanism. When my parents got divorced, that was the funniest conversation of my life, okay? I couldn't stop laughing. There is a video that has been deleted. However, when we saw that Rose was on the ground, Harry was filming, and I did not realize that Rose had gotten pepper sprayed, and he panned the camera to me, and I'm just pointing at her and laughing. She's on the ground, I'm just pointing at her and laughing.
Now, wait a minute.
I told Harry, you have to delete the video. That's the worst I've ever looked ever.
I want to examine your coping mechanism.
After Rose's scream that she got pepper sprayed.
All right, wait a minute. That sounds like someone stepped on a duck. A goose. That someone absolutely stepped. That is absolutely the sound of someone stepping on a goose. One of the bigger birds, maybe a swan. They're unusually aggressive. Give me the whole context for the whole video. What happened here? Not just the sound. Give me the whole sound so that I know what happened before a honking Rose got...
She's okay, by the way, we think. She's not here, so we don't know.
That's why we're laughing.
Let me hear from a honking Rose.
There's chaos and...
I don't think we can laugh
So
at
good.
this. Lucy, I don't think you can laugh at this.
Okay, so after I laughed and pointed at Rose, I said, "Hey, are you okay?" She said, "Am I blind?" And Harry said, "No, you're not blind." And she said, "Oh, okay, then I'm good." Which, like, we don't know. We couldn't have really confirmed that she wasn't blind at the time, but we were just like, "Yeah, you're not blind." And then I gave her my scarf. I said, "Use this to get the pepper spray out of your eyes," as I was laughing at her. And I said, "Hey, I'm really sorry I'm laughing at you. If I got pepper sprayed, would you laugh at me?" And she said yes, so then everything was even. And it was just so funny. And then we went to the press box, and Rose was like crying, laughing. Or it may have been the pepper spray. I don't know.
It may have still been the pepper spray. What you guys are describing, like, I really do enjoy the idea of you're horribly uncomfortable. A riot has broken out, and a national riot has broke out around the game. Lucy, uncomfortable in this environment, with men running past her, both crying and vomiting because they've been pepper sprayed, deals with uncomfortable moments with the laughing mechanism that is all coping, and then you're just pointing silently because your friend is on the ground, and you're actually scared, but you're masking it because this is how you felt when your parents got divorced.
I gotta be honest, it was more funny than I was scared. Like, objectively, it's still really funny. I'm no longer scared, and Rose getting pepper sprayed is like one of the funniest things that's ever.
You're telling me it's a genuine response that you have to uncomfortable, to discomfort in social settings that involve fighting or conflict or whatever, just discomfort,
Yeah.
you laugh.
Sadness is funny, and it makes me laugh. My therapist said this is a normal response. My mom did not speak to me for like a week when our dog died, and I couldn't stop laughing because that's just how I deal with this. I thought that was going to be a funnier sort of bit. Nobody laughed. Now I feel really bad.
It's a dog dying. It's a dog dying.
No, it's a very... I talked to Nina about it, and she was like, that's a pretty normal coping mechanism. But this was just straight up funny.
We've got a quote here from, and I know you want more of this with your sports, SEC Commissioner he's not SEC Commissioner. Greg Sankey is whatever the hell the name of that conference is now, Big Ten.
He's moved on?
Greg Sankey says, quote, if you want...
What's going on here?
SEC.
If you want to plant a flag, play capture the flag, or you join the military, or you fly to the moon. We've got a pissed off Greg Sankey.
By the way, we're trying to plant these flags in turf.
You can't do it. What are we doing? Why are we planting flags at the Big House or Ohio Stadium?
Stugotz has said the two smartest things today. Let's go college overtime. Just do it in the same end zone. We don't need you walking up and down the field. And also, he's totally right on this. You can't. The flag would not be planted. Not because Ohio State wouldn't allow it, not because Ryan Day is mad, just because that's not how turf works.
Also, we didn't even acknowledge Kirby Smart calling a timeout during every overtime. That was so annoying. We need to get rid of the timeouts, too.
Dabo Swinney has chimed in. The fun police. Not a good look for the sport, he says.
Oh, wow.
Neither is that dye job, Dabo.
Yeah, well said.
The Ryan Day dye job is the most egregious in the sport, correct?
Shut your mouth. That's our king.
Yeah.
He is the king of the dye job, right?
We asked him about it, and he flat out denied it on God Bless Football. He said, no, that is not a dye job. And we've asked other people who have seen him at food courts, and they said, no, it looks very real.
Mm-hmm.
At food courts?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, at food courts. Yeah.
I sat next to Urban Meyer at the gate at the Columbus airport when I was leaving. He didn't seem very happy.
Does he ever?
No, but he seemed especially unhappy. iPad guy, by the way.
I've seen a couple videos where he seems happy.
Yeah, one or two.
That's a bit of an invasion of privacy, it feels like.
Flying
to
commercial.
Give
Upset.
the iPad guy to Urban Meyer when he didn't authorize you as a reporter to give out that information.
I didn't look on his screen. I just saw he was using an iPad. Yeah. And I'll say he didn't use it like my dad. It was close enough. He wasn't doing this thing.
Did he have a stylus, the pen to write on it, or no?
No, it seemed like he was just watching stuff. And then he put his sunglasses on inside. And I said, whoa, big time.
Is anyone saying lose with class with the same intensity that they're saying win with class when they start assigning blame to bad optics on this? And they tell Michigan to behave in a way that's more sportsmanlike, and also Ohio State to lose in a way that's more sportsmanlike. When people are going to talk about bad look for the sport, I don't actually think that Stugotz and Billy are in the majority in saying that, beat them, and you will get rid of all the fighting and all the flag planting. I think we all understand that if the emotions of this escalate, it can end up in a very malice at the palace type of place, people swinging helmets. You don't want to keep throwing lighter fluid over what is already like a cauldron. It's 100,000. Stugotz, what this game is, okay, never mind the rivalry of it, what this game is between recruits who have been fighting each other to get to these two schools because, let's just say, it matters to some of the people when you get into these brainwashed sort of cults that are college campuses, and beating Michigan is the most important thing, and beating Ohio State is the most important thing, and Ryan Day can win all the pressurized game, but he keeps losing that one, and I'm going to say died his job. Go ahead. It's going to die. I'm going to fire that guy even though he wins all the time. So at the center of the field where it's physical violence all game and emotions, of course that's going to be lighter fluid to allow that to escalate anywhere beyond where it already is. But the idea that the histrionics of this could escalate to this place because of the stupidity of what it is that we're talking about after the game instead of before the game, which is just celebrate how it is that you like on an empty field that people are leaving. You don't have to get insulted and indignant on the way off the field because somebody's doing something at midfield to a midfield that you couldn't protect during the game.
That's the problem. They stayed on the field. They were looking for the lighter fluid. They were looking for something to get upset about instead of being upset about the fact that they just lost to an inferior Michigan team.
Also while upset.
Well, Dan, you know what? There's emotion on both sides. That game is like Michigan's national championship game this year. It's like that every single year when those two teams play. And so they beat an Ohio State team they had no business beating on the road in their stadium, and they wanted to plant a flag afterwards to celebrate. And you know what? I'm good with that because there's emotion on both sides of this. There's emotion to winning and there's emotion to losing. But if you lose, get off the field.
The action is symbolic but also redundant. Michigan had already planted that flag in the most humiliating of ways because in that cauldron of 100,000 people stunned and sad because of what Michigan just did on its field, when those people get their regional identity politics from what's at the middle of that. That whole thing is a furnace. Like the whole thing is ripe for something going off the rails because somebody gets emotional.
So for context, Ohio State was on the field singing their alma mater, which a lot of schools do. But I think something that we keep overlooking is that these are 18 and 19-year-old boys, and I've never met a smart or rational one of those in my life.
Well, but I'm adding to that all the other stuff that I said. It's yes, you're correct.
Cam McCormick's also lurking around there. There are some 24-year-old boys. I get the larger point. Look, I've gone to plenty of games over in England, and it's kind of a joy suck. I like that here in the United States. I can go to the Game Time app. I can wear a Canes jersey. It's at my own peril, but I could sit next to someone at Doak Campbell Stadium who's wearing a Seminoles jersey, and I'm allowed that right. I'm not afforded that right over in England. I have to go through my own entrance. I can't be wearing the color of my team to support. Why? Because it got out of hand in the 80s and 90s. Violence got ratcheted up. And look, I understand. You don't want it? Win. I get it. But it's unsportsmanlike. There are rules against it. It's not something that you see in the professional ranks because it can spiral out of control. You're asking people to check their emotions in a very physically and emotionally draining game.
Billy's rolling his eyes at you.
Not
rolling my eyes at him, but it's just kind of like you need to control your emotions because I'm not able to control my emotions. So you better not plant a flag because I'm not going to be able to control me going over and punching you in the head. So you're really to blame because I decided to punch you in the head.
But why is it the only place where it's allowed? In all of athletics, name me another example where taunting like this after a game is allowed, because I'm telling you, if it happened in the pros, you'd have grown-ass men resorting to violence. You'd have fans customers coming onto the field.
It did happen in the pros. Terrell Owens did it.
And it caused a problem.
It's not the pros. These are amateurs. These are children. They're very young.
So protect them from their bad decision-making.
But they're not pros. So I think it's weird to hold them to the standard of you need to be more mature.
I mean, the Ohio State roster is making $20 million.
They are pros.
But they're not old. They're young. They're 18, 19. Hell, there are 17-year-olds out on that field. They are not professional athletes. I think, if anything, I was on the Michigan side of that ordeal, but from what I heard and what I saw, Ryan Day didn't, do a lot. That's who we should be upset with. Also, we should be more upset with the cops for pepper spraying.
That's true.
That's the top thing we should be mad about.
Forgive me. I haven't come down on the kids doing it. The action of it, I think we need to protect ourselves from this situation unfolding. And the conferences have been totally fine when we put together our highlight packages of Baker Mayfield planting a flag and hyping up those aspects. Oh, it's bad when these two teams get together. And everyone feels that, yeah, mix it up. We like all that stuff because we're fed it. It feeds to what we like about this very physical sport. But I do think you need to put some things in place to prevent things from spiraling out of control, because this was a very ugly weekend for the sport.
Interesting, because I disagree that ugly is bad for that sport. I disagree that us caring this much about the aftermath instead of what happened in the game is good for the sport. Us being fascinated that the violence can escalate to a tipping point that might scare you a little bit. I don't know if you've seen the video of McCaffrey's calf giving in a game that Fred Warner is playing with a fractured ankle. For weeks, Fred Warner is playing with a fractured ankle. I don't have any earthly idea how that's done. What we're watching that we're throwing kids into the maw of is the 100,000 people watching the gladiator spectacle on show us your violence, show us your ego, show us your pride. Let's fight one school against the other in the biggest rivalry that any of us in this region will know in our lifetimes, passed down from our parents and our grandparents, because this stadium fills 100,000 people to watch you be more violent than them, better at the violence than they are. That whole thing ends up symbolically with a flag planted because many of the participants think of it as war. They use all of those war analogies because of what they're giving their bodies to.
But what are you fighting to protect? This is a very recent trend. This is not something that is passed down from generation. Baker Mayfield did this, and everyone now is clout chasing for the social media clip. I love college football, and I love that it feels a little dangerous and it has more passion, and it's the closest thing that we have to European football in this country. What I'm saying is protect it, by instituting just some small rules, because you're going to have a situation that is going to get so out of hand that you're going to lose it, and we may get to a day where you're not allowed to wear the opposing team's color, and you may get to a day where you have your own designated entrance, and you may get to a day where they decide no more alcohol sales. I've been to those soccer games. It's not fun for the neutral.
So what would the rule be? What would the punishment be? Because they did fine both schools $100,000. I don't, and
which
all
is
that
not enough, by the way. I mean, that's not going to stop them from doing
it.
All the money should go to
money
Rose.
should go to
Right.
I think it's very plausible to say after a game is over, the coaches shake hands, but the teams go to the locker rooms and have your celebration in the opposing locker room and do whatever you want. Just don't get collateral damage involved. Don't have it a situation where fans are running onto the field and you're hell-bent on planting this flag or doing something disrespectful when the emotions are super high.
I do believe, I might be wrong on this, that Ohio State and Michigan's locker rooms are on the same side. So even then, you're running through this. And you have a situation at the Big House where you saw this a few years ago with Michigan and Michigan State. There's one entrance to both of those locker rooms, and you have to go in that way together. I think logistically there are just issues that you're going to come up with. I agree with what you're saying. I just don't know what the punishment and the order would be.
Can I just stop you for a second? Because I will say, I don't want to say it's a feature, not a bug, but I want to remind you about how you sound right now, even while fearing a Malice in the Palace type of video where the sport gets harmed by the idea that the violence can't be policed and then all the rules have to change much swifter and more of them change because you have to react to an action as opposed to leading and getting ahead of the day that people are swinging helmets and it can get really bad. When Judd Apatow saw everybody was talking about a certain thing and Chris Rock gets slapped, everyone mocked him for saying he could have died. He could have died. And what's the show sounds like right now is fearing the very real potential of where it is something like that can end up where somebody can really get hurt. But I ask you again, what do you think we're doing all week getting to that game? It's like we're making these two groups of people that are going to collide get to a heightened place where dumb testosterone-soaked kids are going to do dumb shit in front of each other because they just won in front of 100,000 silent people, and that's the best feeling in the world.
Right, but we don't see that in combat sports, and we very rarely see it in the NFL. And when shit gets real in the NFL, like Myles Garrett swinging a helmet, everybody wants to change everything and chastise it. You've gotten kind of lucky with all these field storming incidents. With this most recent weekend, I think everyone can see a scenario in which this can spiral out of control. I understand it's a logistical challenge. I also don't think we can't make a solution to wrangle teams and say, you stay in this quadrant while we let the other team in. They already do.
Good.
They already do that.
Well, it's great coming from a Canes fan.
Well, I understand.
We kind of started it.
But we did.
Yeah.
I'll wear that.
Well, Mike.
I'll wear that, but I can also.
We has never done as much lifting as Stugat saying that he's responsible for UM swagger.
I'll take it.
The 80s Canes did that, but I can also be from it, be amused by it in a documentary and understand why there were rules made specifically against them.
Rose was pepper sprayed, and we have to take that very seriously. Oh, no. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Oh, no, this loudmouth. He's a Hall of Famer. He's an NBA champion. He's a 10-time All-Star. He is Paul Pierce, and he's here looking for Ruiz. He's looking for...
Where is Ruiz at, man?
Ruiz is in the back row. I don't think we have talked about the...
Put that book down, Ruiz.
He's reading The Pride of a Lion right now by Greg Cody. Get it?
You're not reading about that loss to the Toronto Raptors last night?
We have not talked much Miami Heat this season. We did not talk at all about them losing at home to Milwaukee without Antetokounmpo. And here comes Paul Pierce with the most
to remind us
the most overwhelming team in the league, the reigning champion. But we have the fortunate timing of getting him right after Cleveland dragged your ass.
Yeah, I know. That's all right. We're not even worried. We missing two of our premier players, and we just giving some experience to the other guys. You know, this is you gotta understand. The Celtics are every team's biggest game of the year. So, you know, once we understand that, when we go on the road and back-to-backs and all of that and accept that, they'll be fine.
Paul, this team's better than yours.
I don't know. We don't know. It's damn close. I ain't gonna lie. This team is really good, really good. But I will tell you this: our team, I don't know. We learned, we knew how to break teams mentally. So what we lacked in skill versus them, we had with will. So.
Oh, wait a minute. This is cloaked in some stuff. Are you saying that this, I want you to state it clearly, and I don't want to get you aggregated here, but you're saying that you guys are tougher, and the way that you would win is not being more skilled, by breaking the will of players who are not as tough as you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to turn it into a bar fight. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We this ain't going to be no finesse dancing on the ring. This is going to be body blow, body blow.
Right. So you're going to break Al Horford's will, huh?
I think KG has a good reputation of doing things like that.
Whose will would you break?
Listen, when you start getting guys in foul trouble in the first quarter and then they foul, I mean, it's just like, listen, I've known to break a few wills, sent some of them from Cleveland to Miami, so.
You didn't really.
I don't know.
You really didn't answer my question, though. What do you mean you don't know? You're not allowed to say I don't know to that. You can say that's a question. It's leading. It's unfair. You can do all those things. It can't be I don't know.
No, I didn't say I don't know. I said I've been known to break a few wills.
But who? And I asked you whose will would you go after on this team that you're saying you're not sure that they would beat you, even though they're more suited to the modern game than you guys are.
Are you talking about the current Boston team? Whose will would I go after?
Yes.
All of them. All of them. All of them.
This is a really short book. I mean, I found a book that was more mailed in than Stugatz's.
Thank you.
I'm doing a
dog,
bit.
Listen,
I'm doing a bit, and I read half of it.
Listen, you just like LeBron. You've been on that same page for the last 3 days.
Actually, I'm down for the LeBron shots.
Look, never turned up. It's still on page 1.
What can you tell us, Paul, about the future of the Miami Heat that you played tonight? Because I said last year that the window had been closed before the season was even played, that Boston in architecture had gone much further, deeper than Miami was, just in what their roster is. Younger, better, stronger, faster.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Miami right now is, and the beautiful thing about the NBA, every team is one trade away. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you got guys like Jimmy Butler and Bam on the roster and Terry Rozier. I mean, you got some talented guys, and every team is one trade away. I think they're missing a piece because you got the coaching, you got the culture, and really haven't been known to be a great regular season team, but for some reason been great in the playoffs. So I would never count Miami out based on the history over the last 4 or 5 years. And so the problem with them is just probably staying healthy, the health of Bam and Jimmy Butler.
You wouldn't count
I've been
them
hearing
out.
a lot of trade rumors down there that, I don't know if Roddy is going to re-sign Jimmy and maybe Jimmy wants to go somewhere else. I don't know, man. It seems like everything is the sky is falling in Miami. I don't know what's going on. You guys give me the forecast.
Wait a minute. Are you getting any credible sources telling you that, or is this just nonsense gossip, or is it somebody telling you that makes you feel like you know something that's going on in Miami?
Hey, listen. I know the streets when the streets be talking, and I know. Hey, word on the streets, if things ain't too sunny down there in Miami. I don't know.
I don't know what that means. I still don't think you answered my question. How credible are your sources? Are you in the news-making business right now by trying to be a newsbreaker, or are you just telling me
news-making business? And I'm not sure Jimmy is going to be there by the end of the year.
All right, Dan, allow me to handle this. Who are you talking to? Name the sources.
I thought you were going to say the streets be talking. I thought that's what you were going to.
The streets are code for somebody, and I want to know who that somebody is.
Word on the street.
I want to put.
Listen, that's the name of word on the streets is. I can't tell you more. I can't tell you less.
It's a bull report.
Nope.
It gives me no proof that you've talked. It gives me no proof that you've talked to anybody. There are no words on those streets. I feel like it's just not. You're an agent of chaos, and you're trying to cause division in Miami. You're not reporting shit. Let's put up on the screen and let's let him look at. Here it is. Your nemesis, Dwyane Wade, and his statue, Paul Pierce. Give me your thoughts here.
No, listen, first of all, shout out to Dwyane Wade for having a statue, because that's truly an honor, because not many players have a statue in the NBA. He's well deserving of it. He built the culture to what it is today. But I thought it looked like they gave him too much facial hair based on the picture that you showed next to it. And he always kept a low cut. So it feels like the statue was in between his rookie year and his final year. But nonetheless, well-deserving Dwyane Wade. Ultimate respect, man. But you listen, he was part of the process. He approved it. So we all live with it.
I am very disappointed by the grace you have shown here. I am.
It's Wade.
See, this is the perception you guys have to understand. I don't have beef with LeBron. I don't have beef with D-Wade. We just sometimes fire shots back and forth, friendly fire.
Ray Allen, there is some beef with. You texted Tony Allen that he looks more like the Dwyane Wade statue than Dwyane Wade.
Well, listen, I'm not the only one that thought that. So don't blame me. So other people said, hey, some people thought it was Lawrence Fishburne. I don't know.
You're just being very gentle, and you're showing the proper respect, and I don't know what to do with it, because I can't, Ruiz, I can't tell you how disappointed I am that Paul Pierce, the ultimate troll, is now too disrespecting of the Miami Heat to even engage them in verbal back and forth.
That's because he knows his statue would be him in a wheelchair shitting himself.
Oh, come on. Come on.
What happened there, Paul?
Come on.
Look, that's Tony Allen. Is that Tony Allen? Oh, my God.
I love you, Paul.
That would be a good statue. Your I love you is the most insincere thing I've ever heard in a lifetime of insincerity. I will tell everybody who's listening that you can subscribe to KG Certified on YouTube for the Truth Lounge, as well as Ticket and the Truth, his show with Kevin Garnett. Kevin holds on to the rivalries of the day in a way that I find charming from a stubborn old man. I love that he's just totally unreasonable. Like, he must be this way about everything, correct?
If I listen, if I say, KG, here go $1 billion I got for you, he'd be like, no, fuck out of here, right? Everything is no initially. Everything. Until it starts sinking in. But very stubborn about everything. Like, you wouldn't even believe it. Like, you could be the most, like, KG, hey, I just got this private jet for you. No, I don't need it. And then he'll think about it like, oh, okay, thanks. Like.
So it's just contrarian, just disagreeable at the very start because he wants the sparks right at the start of whatever it is we're doing.
At the start of everything. It's no to everything. KG, your newborn is here. Would you like to kiss her? No. Like KG. Like, come on, bro. Didn't he think about it? No, literally, it's like that with everything.
Do you remember during your playing days with him as a teammate coming back to the locker room and being like, he is crazy. I love him. He's my teammate. I'll fight with him everywhere. But this is nuts. Like, the way he gets about some of this stuff, it's not sane.
No, it's passionate. What we call insane and nuts to everyone else, I call it passion. You know, what we call different, I call it I call it love. It's his way of loving. Because if you ever around him, and I promise you, every teammate, like, he's the best storyteller. He sits there, he takes all the guys under his wings. Like just to know him off the court, it's totally something different that you see on the court or interviews and things of that nature. It's like the complete opposite. And I know it'll be hard to believe because of the passion and the energy, but he's always energetic. You know, he probably wake up and say, he probably wake up and yawn, anything's possible. He probably do that on the wake up.
That's annoying.
I mean,
that's annoying. That's the days that you were hungover rolling in to practice. That's annoying.
Right.
You know that guy's nobody wants to be around that guy all the time. You can love him, and that's not the energy level to greet the way that you were spending some NBA nights.
Definitely not. I'll go hide in the steam room. I'll go hide in the steam room.
Can you tell us who you regard as the greatest challenger to the Celtics this year? The most reasonable challenger.
The most reasonable challenger, man, bro. Oh, in the East or the West?
Well, you've counted and beat out, right? So
I've counted Sixers out.
So start with the East.
I don't see.
Yeah,
I don't see how they recover. The Eastern Conference is weird, but I'm gonna have to say. I'm gonna have to probably say the Knicks. I'm gonna say the Knicks. I like Cleveland and everything. You know, it looks good, and they won. They beat them the other day, but that's obviously without Derek White and without Jaylen Brown. So I think with those two guys, it's not even close. I think the Knicks can challenge the Celtics. Could probably push them to 5 games, maybe.
And out west?
And out west, OKC. Man, are you seeing what's going on out west? OKC, Houston Rockets, and Memphis is in the top 3, all the young teams. And it just feels like all the older teams are sliding. They get out to a great start. They're all just sliding back to the pack. And then I don't know what happened with Minnesota or Dallas. Dallas is coming along a little more, but like it just seems like these young teams is taking over the league right now. And it's a new guard in town for the Western Conference. But you can't count out Joker either.
I'm going to let you go on this one. When people complain about ratings being down in the NBA, they give an assortment of different reasons for it. Do you have one theory above all others?
It's not one thing. I think our stars are aging, our superstars. I think international players are taking over, and I think there's a lack from that newer American star waiting to emerge. You know, I said it was Jason Tatum, and then maybe it's the style of play. You know, when you see games, I was watching a game the other day, and I saw like 6 threes get put up back and forth both ways. And maybe it's just early in the season because football too. You know, once football is over, you know, people start paying attention. Or maybe it's just the Celtics are so dominant.
All right, we got to go. Good seeing you. Good seeing you, Paul Pierce. That's the thing has run its course.
He had the Knicks pushing them to a 5th game.
We are done here. Thank you. Yes. They'll win 1 game. Look at him, still laughing on his way out the door. Only thing more annoying than the Celtics winning is the Celtics
Ruiz,
knowing that they're going to win. See you later, Pierce.
All right, guys.
See you, Paul.
Peace.
We went super sportsy today, and I still don't feel like we talked about all of the football stuff that probably you guys wanted to talk about. We didn't talk about the Bengals, and Joe Burrow is just having amazing statistics and going 0-3. Like 107 points the last 3 games, more than 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, 0-3.
4-8.
We didn't talk about Russell Wilson having like the second best game of his life and Pittsburgh winning a game the way that you didn't think Pittsburgh could win games, which is outscoring Joe Burrow at his best. So that part's confusing. We had a lot of football somehow that we didn't get to because we were so busy talking about college kids planting a flag.
Yeah, all the things we didn't cover on this show, they're on God Bless Football. But the thing we want to know is how'd you do in the Listener League?
Ooh, yeah. This is the big week. How'd you do? I noticed we didn't cover that yet either. But here we
how
are.
did I do? You tell me.
This is the Listener League presented by Smirnoff. Go to dkng.co/Smirnoff, presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. Please tell you. I don't know your username. How would I know how you did? It's not I am Dan Levitard. If it was that, I would know
Well,
for sure. I'll tell you how I did. Thank you for
I asked
asking.
you guys to do it for me.
Well, no, that's not how that works.
You can't auto-draft this
do it
either,
for
right?
you.
Yeah.
We can't do it for you. Come
several
on.
security measures in place. I'm
Exactly
not going
right.
to pretend to be you.
Actually, you know what? What's your social? I could do it for you. What's your social? And then we're gonna need
What's,
some banking
your mother's
info.
maiden name?
You set that up, and then that's a whole thing. How did I do? Great question, Dan. Finished 75th. Oh, just out of the money. Now, Thomas, as you may know as Mr. Hockey from Ice Ice Baby, he finished the money this week. I believe he finished in 20th place, so he was very excited about that situation. Money's just there for the taking. I had a good strategy this week, and I actually have a good strategy for next week that I think I'm going to implement because my good strategy for this week wasn't quite good enough. Now, it's not my fault. Players were getting injured. That's always the situation. When Cooper Kupp does nothing for you, what are you supposed to do? I believed in Cooper Kupp. He did nothing for me. Baker got hurt, and then he wasn't hurt. He came back in. He played, but did have a great fantasy performance for me. Again, you can compete against us. dkng.co/Smirnoff. 75th place, Dan. I'm headed in the right direction.
I will figure out how to get signed up next week. I asked you guys to handle that for me this week, you and Cynthia.
Security
and so,
measures.
Security. That's a Cynthia thing. I'm not here to defraud the people.
No, but I want to actually play with the listeners. But I was asking you to get me started. Well, it doesn't sound like you helped me do what I needed to do.
You want him to build an account, right?
I just no. All I wanted is it made easy for someone who was requesting help, and Billy is incapable of that.
No, that's not true.
An entire career. I've watched it grow over the years.
Cynthia said she was going to handle it, so that's Cynthia's handling situation. You know what I mean? Plus, I'm compromised. I can't. Yeah, confetti's falling. They're celebrating my 75th place finish. I can't pick a team for you and pick my own team. Then what are we supposed to do? Plus, then you'll accuse me of sabotage, and I would never sabotage.
You mentioned the Bengals, Dan. Teams are 79-7 when scoring at least 30 points this year. The Bengals have 4 of those losses. They're going to waste Joe Burrow's career.
Mike Ryan,
could have been better.
Did you just have that's what he's saying after the game. He says, I've got to be better. I've always got to be better.
How much better?
I feel so much pressure.
He made
to be
mistakes
better.
in that one.
Did you just catch, Mike Ryan, a piece of confetti that is still in our ceiling from the Peacock announcement that we had joined Peacock?
I think that's what that's from.
So not finishing 75th.
So there are a number of things that I still wanted to get to, Stugotz, that I did not. Mike Evans made the greatest catch I've ever seen. There's one of those every weekend. Every single weekend, there's the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, he caught a ball with one hand that I don't think most human beings can grab a football that's being thrown that hard with one hand in the position as close as he was to being out of bounds. And every weekend I'm seeing 5 of these plays all over the place. The Colts going for 2. I've wanted this all my life. You guys saw it, right? Nobody cares because it's Colts Patriots. But at the end of the game, not just going for 2, but doing what Miami wouldn't do. Yep, Richardson's our guy. We're just giving him the ball. You all know this, right? Everybody knows this. The announcers are saying, they're all saying, yes, this is just going to be Richardson. They're going to put their whole future in. He can get 3 yards. We trust him to get 3 yards.
I would have killed for it to be from the 3-yard line like like they had it. But my main takeaway from that game is I went into that game like, this game sucks.
Yeah.
There's no way this game's going to be good.
It was great.
Thankfully, the red zone will never show it.
Yeah.
Both those quarterbacks, different ways to get there, but they're showing you a little something. Drake May, that's a sweet spot for the Patriots. You think you have your quarterback and you're not having a good season? He's good.
Yeah, it's a great loss.
He is averaging more yards per rush than Michael Vick did when he broke the record for average yards per rush from a quarterback. Did you guys know? I did not know this until yesterday. It was one of the many things that I learned that Tony Sperano Jr. is the offensive line coach for the Colts. And it just made me think, God, it has to be funny to grow up as a kid and just want to be an offensive line coach because your dad was one and just follow him into the family business.
It makes me smile.
I'm going to be anonymous the rest of my life. Or maybe the Dolphins are high on me and everyone will think they're crazy, but I'm just going to go it as an offensive line coach. And he looks exactly like you would imagine Tony Sperano's kid looks, which is like Tony Sperano looked when he was the offensive line coach a million years ago.
Yeah, you have Don Shula's grandson DCing at the knee of Sean McVay, so he'll obviously get a head coaching job soon. Gary Kubiak's son is coaching in there. Chris, do you think this is merit-based?
They work hard, all of them. Damn good.
Shula, good coaching name, right? Eberflus, not so much. Kubiak, not really. Bryce
It's
Young.
a Super Bowl winning champion. I think I have to play the result like which.
You do, yes. We left out Bryce Young, huh?
What about him?
Yeah, in terms of young quarterbacks that are emerging on the scene.
You guys mentioned grandparents, grandchildren, and people getting old or nepotism in general. I did not know until yesterday that the adult diaper, unless I have this wrong, unless I was watching the commercial wrong, is not called Depends. The company is called Depend. It is not plural. And the only reason I know this is because I'm like, are you shitting me? Emmitt Smith?
Well,
yes, I did that
diaper?
on purpose. Yes. Are you shitting me? Emmitt Smith is doing Depend ads? He's doing.
It doesn't sound right.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't for diapers. I don't know that Emmitt Smith's agent or he would go in on diapers. It was Depend other products, but I knew neither of these things. I knew neither that it's Depend, not Depends. What did you guys think? Did you guys not think that the company was called Depends?
I've always heard Depends.
Yeah, what's going on here? Are you in the market or?
I'm just watching a commercial for Emmitt Smith.
Your algorithm got you, huh?
And you guys tell me, you guys,
Depend.
are you guys not feeling that the way I'm feeling that? It's Emmitt Smith.
What exactly are you feeling? I mean,
Emmitt Smith is doing commercials for a company that does adult diapers.
Why are you watching it so closely?